Sullivan's Crossing's biggest weakness could be fixed if it followed the book format. Like Bridgerton, have you ever fallen in love with a story, only for it to forget what made you love it in the first place? Because that's exactly what's happening to Sullivan's Crossing. Now I know that's a bold thing to say, especially about a show that had all the right ingredients. A gorgeous, rugged town. A tortured love story. And let's be real, Cal Jones' smoldering stares carried half the emotional weight in season 1. But something's wrong now. Terribly wrong. Because when I watched the season 3 finale, I didn't cry. I didn't cheer. I just blinked. And maybe you're like me, sitting there with your mouth slightly open, one eyebrow raised, whispering, wait what? When Maggie's husband suddenly showed up. A husband. In season 3. Out of nowhere. It's the kind of plot twist that feels less like a cliffhanger and more like the writers are screaming for help. Like they open a random fanfiction generator and hit spin. And yet, there's a fix. A forbidden, overlooked fix. One the creators should have used from the start. And no, I'm not just talking about making better decisions. I'm talking about a proven formula that's worked for years. One that Bridgerton nailed. One that Robin Carr actually used in her own Sullivan's Crossing books. But the show threw that formula out the window. And now it's paying the price. Let's talk about why Maggie and Cal's romance is no longer the heart of the show, and how Sullivan's Crossing could still save itself if it dares to change everything. See, the problem isn't just that Maggie and Cal got together. It's that we already know how this story ends. Remember how electric their early scenes were? The awkward glances, the trust slowly being rebuilt after her return, the tension when they nearly kissed and then pulled back. We ate that up like it was the last s'more on a summer night. But now, it's all gone. No tension, no stakes, just hiking. Trauma bonding. A few arguments that get resolved in 12 minutes or less. And to make matters worse, the writers know it's stale. So what do? They drop in a random husband out of nowhere. No setup, no hints. Just, surprise! Maggie's already married. You don't do that in season 3 unless you're desperate. And that desperation is seeping into every part of this show. Now before we dig into how Bridgerton, yes, that corset, lace drama, has the blueprint for Sullivan's Crossing survival, I need you to do one thing: subscribe to Breakdown Epic right now. Because I'm not just spilling tea. I'm diving deep into the forbidden story formats, behind the scenes secrets, and the subtle choices that could either save the show or kill it by season 5. And trust me, if you're a fan of Sullivan's Crossing, Virgin River, Bridgerton, or any good slow burn romance, you do not want to miss what's coming next. Hit that subscribe button. You'll thank me when season 4 rolls around. Okay, here's what most casual fans don't know, and this is where it gets frustrating. Sullivan's Crossing is based on an anthology series. Let me repeat that. The books it's based on aren't about Maggie and Cal. Not just Maggie and Cal. Each book tells the story of a different couple in the same small town. You know what that means? That means we were never supposed to get 3 full seasons of just Maggie wandering around with a confused look while Cal carries her trauma and bakes banana bread. It was never supposed to be this repetitive. The books gave the show a gift: the ability to change main characters every season, while keeping the heart of the town alive. That's what made Bridgerton work so well. Each season gave us fresh passion, new secrets, and a new reason to fall in love, again and again. Bridgerton didn't just survive this switch, it thrived. We debated which sibling should come next. We picked favorites. We waited. Imagine if Sullivan's Crossing had done that from the start. Season 1, Maggie and Cal, sure. Season 2, maybe Lola and Rafe. Or Sydney and a mysterious new doctor. Season 3, a wild backstory for Connie and her youth during the early days of the Crossing. But instead, we're stuck watching Maggie get mad at Cal for being too supportive. Too supportive? That's not drama. That's a Facebook marriage meme. Let me ask you something. And drop your answer in the comments, because I'm collecting real fan opinions for an upcoming video. If Sullivan's Crossing Season 4 had to center on a new couple, who would you pick? Would it be Connie finally getting her own second chance romance? Would it be a mysterious stranger arriving to reopen an old wound in Sully's past? Or maybe, just maybe, a forbidden romance between two characters who've barely shared a scene? But the tension is simmering just under the surface. Because let's be real, we all love Maggie. We do, but her character arc is flatter than a Saskatchewan prairie at this point. Even Cal seems exhausted, and if you're thinking, Sophia, aren't you being a little harsh? Maybe I'm just bitter because I was promised slow burn romance, and now I'm watching these two trade dialogue like co-workers at a camping supply store. But seriously, go back to our last video, the season 3 finale's most ridiculous plot twist. Remember how insane the comment section got when Maggie's husband showed up? The betrayal, the confusion, the memes. Y'all roasted that man like he was invading Virgin River. Let's channel that same energy here. What should season 4 do next? Tell me in the comments. And if you're new here, yes, we go deep. We overanalyze, we spiral. But that's what makes this fun. Now, let's get into what should have happened in season 2, and how this single missed opportunity created a ripple effect that's dragging the entire show down. Because if the writers had made one bold decision, to pivot the show into an anthology format, just like Robin Carr originally intended, we wouldn't be talking about Maggie's random husband. We'd be talking about which couple should headline season 4. Instead, they locked us into Maggie and Cal's emotional rinse cycle. Lather, trigger, cry, repeat. And don't get me wrong, trauma healing is important, but watching it rehashed for 3 seasons like a looped therapy montage, that's not good storytelling. That's Netflix filler energy. You know what Robin Carr's Sullivan's Crossing book series does brilliantly? It lets characters move on. It lets them breathe. It tells us that healing doesn't always come from one person. Sometimes it's the town itself that changes people, the landscape, the community, the random people you meet when you least expect it. But the show said, let's turn this into Maggie's extended mental health saga featuring sad dad Sully. Here's where Bridgerton blew everyone out of the water, and Sullivan's Crossing had every chance to do the same. From the very beginning, Bridgerton told us we'd get a new love story every season. That transparency created anticipation. We were excited to watch one couple get their happy ending, because we knew another one was coming. The stakes were high, but they weren't cruel. Sullivan's Crossing could have taken that same risk, and it would have worked. Imagine this season 1. Maggie and Cal, the fish out of water romance. A woman returning to confront her past and a man hiding from his own. Season 2. A young widow arriving in town to run the diner. She's hiding a secret and reconnects with her high school enemy, turned war vet. Season 3. A spin-off romance about Sully in his youth, with flashbacks showing how the crossing was built and the love he lost along the way. Each story contained. Each couple gets closure. We keep rooting because every season feels fresh. But instead, we're watching Maggie and Cal try to adopt a dog together like they're playing The Sims on hard mode. Let's do a quick hypothetical. Just for fun. Let's say you're the showrunner of Sullivan's Crossing. You get handed the script for season 4 and the notes say, find a way to bring back the drama, without breaking Maggie and Cal apart again. What do you do? Option A, do. Introduce a new couple entirely and slowly hand off the focus. Option B, bring in someone from Cal's past with a secret connection to Sully. Option C, give Sully a shocking diagnosis and let him fall in love again. Option D, Zio, just pretend the husband never happened and say it was all a dream. Comment which one you'd choose. Honestly, I'm torn between A and C, but if I see even one vote for D, I'm blocking you from the channel. Keating mostly. And hey, remember when we did that breakdown of Virgin River's biggest season swap, where Jack and Mel basically turned into B plot furniture? That worked because the show was willing to evolve. Sullivan's Crossing needs to do the same, or it's going to collapse under the weight of its own missed potential. Here's the thing, we're not saying Maggie and Cal have to disappear. We're saying give them space, let them support other characters, let them become background mentors. They've done their job. Their story arc is complete. Keeping them front and center is like bringing a wedding cake to a birthday party every year. It's still sweet, but it's not what we're celebrating anymore. So here's one solution that could work, starting with season 4's soft reboot. The Crossing gets a new arrival, someone who grew up in the town but left after a tragedy. Maybe they're back to take care of a sick relative. Maybe they're back to settle a score. Maybe they're back to inherit land and cross paths with someone they swore they'd never speak to again. Maggie could be the new town doctor. Cal runs the trail tours. They exist in the world, but they're no longer the center of it. This is how Bridgerton survived and thrived. Let's be honest here. The reason Maggie and Cal aren't interesting anymore, because the show refused to let them be happy. You can't keep characters in a constant state of unresolved grief and then expect us to cheer when they hold hands. That's emotional fatigue, not tension. We want to root for them. We want to believe in their love. But when every episode is just another crisis or plot twist, it stops feeling real. It starts feeling like homework. Even the most passionate relationships need downtime. Scenes where people just exist together, breathe, laugh, make bad tea and fight over grocery lists. Bridgerton gives us those moments. So did Virgin River. Sullivan's Crossing gives us tree accidents and secret husbands. And before someone says, Sophia, this is Canadian drama, it's supposed to be slower. No, slow is fine. Slow is beautiful when done right. But this isn't slow. This is watching Maggie monologue into the wind while Cal pretends to chop wood dramatically. You can't tell me with a straight face that was a romantic scene. You know what was romantic? Sully fixing the porch with his bare hands and not needing to trauma dump every 5 seconds. I said what I said. Here's what it comes down to. Sullivan's Crossing has a heartbeat problem. The emotional core is still there, it's just buried under poor pacing, recycled drama, and a refusal to embrace what made the books work in the first place. But it's not too late. With season 4 confirmed, this show has one last chance to evolve, to pass the torch, expand the universe, and finally give us the anthology-style drama we deserve. Because here's the truth, we don't want more Maggie heartbreak. We want new love stories in a town we already trust. We want the forbidden past, the small town secrets, the romantic tension so strong you can feel it through the screen. And if the writers are watching this, which, let's be real, they probably are because y'all keep tagging them in my breakdowns, it's time. Time to be brave. Time to be book accurate. Time to give Sullivan's Crossing its Bridgerton moment.